This is
The Dark Side of Lust. Today's story comes from an anonymous person. Let's get into it right now. Hey, my name is Pierre and I'm an incel. No incel wants to be an incel, and no incel admits that they're an incel. We kind of stick up for each other online, and I guess it's just a sad way of saying that we're all lonely and we're overlooked. I realize that although I'm a nice looking guy, I'm really skinny and I'm a little shy. I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm an Elliot Rodger here, but I am good looking. Just beef me up a little bit and give me some lessons on how to be more assertive, and I could probably get all the beautiful women out there. So that's what I thought I would do. I thought I would go to the gym and start beefing myself up and start getting out of my shell. So I started to watch YouTube videos and watch the Chads online and how they get close to the women. And it all became quite ridiculous when I started to act like somebody who I wasn't. I didn't want to go to the gym. I really didn't want to have all those big muscles either, because I do think they look ridiculous. Let's admit it. A guy that has muscles that are so big that he can't wipe his butt. It's like a woman with long nails where it's clear she cannot wipe her butt. It's just stupid sometimes, to be honest with you. And so I gave up. The little bit of weight that I did gain by taking a couple of protein shakes and working out every day just came off so quickly. And not only that, I didn't feel like I wanted to be the alpha male. I'm okay being a beta. I'm okay being a gamma or an omega. I don't need to be the one out there getting all the attention. I just wanted a beautiful woman. A beautiful woman. Maybe a woman that's so beautiful that she sees the beauty in me and I don't have to be buffed, and I also don't have to go up to her and prove to her that I'm a man. You know, the type of woman that can just see something in a man and bring the best out of him. Those women do exist. But unfortunately, a lot of the beautiful ones are not the ones that are going to do that to a man. The beautiful ones like to be picked up, and they like to be protected and provided for. And I can't protect a woman. And I know a lot of women don't want to protect their men. But here's my story. So I started to date this woman online. And I didn't want to talk to her on the phone because I knew once she heard my pimple sounding voice, she would be completely turned off. I sound like a nerd, and I can't help it. I have a nasal sounding voice, and I pause a lot between sentences. My brain moves very quickly. I am an intellectual. I'm very smart, like most incels are, but I don't always express myself the way I would to a friend when I'm with a woman. So I only spoke to her through writing. Sent her poems, figured out who she was. I stalked her a little bit online under some other accounts that I had, just so I could really get into the meat of the matter, and I did. And I had her in my grasp, and she was so in love with me. She started to write in text to me that she can't stop thinking about me. She started to write in text with me that she cannot wait until we go to parties together, until we hang out together. And I was really looking forward to that. I knew that she still had to see me in person, and I knew that she still had to hear my voice. Now, I did send her photos of me. I wasn't catfishing her. I sent her photos of my face and she really loved it. A few times she would ask me for full body shots, but I told her that, I didn't have a phone stand, and I made up all these excuses saying that my friends refuse to take photos of me because they're not that girly type of guys, and which was all a lie. I mean, I have almost every phone stand that I could get for myself, and I have almost every single gaming equipment. I could have sent her any video, any photo. But I lied because I didn't want her to see my body and the shape of it before I went to see her. You see, she's a woman that works out. She's a woman that likes to take care of herself. So finally, the day came where we were going to talk on the phone, video chat. And bingo. As soon as she heard my voice, she was like, "Oh, hi." And I could tell immediately that she just wasn't into me. Right away, she said to me, "Oh, I thought your voice was going to sound different." And I said, "How did you expect my voice to sound?" She's like, "I don't know, but it's okay. So, what are you doing today?" And right from then, I got nervous, and it was hard for me to speak to her, and it was hard for me to control the situation and control the conversation. And she could sense that weakness in me. Within 5 minutes, I lost her attention. It wasn't like when we talk on text and she just keeps going and going and going all night. This was different, and I sensed it. So the next day, I asked her if we were going to meet up the weekend coming up, because we were supposed to meet up on the weekend, and she said to me that something came up and she's busy. Could you imagine that bitch? All because she didn't like my voice. She didn't even give me a chance. At least we could have had a second conversation. We didn't even meet in person. She liked my face. She liked how I sound in my writing. Like, what the heck? So I got pissed off, and I started to stalk her. And it was relentless. And she deserved every second of it. Until she ended up crying in her underground parking lot and called the police. But the police understood, and the police officer that arrested me told me that he was once an incel. And he told me that now that he's a Chad, he understands exactly where I was coming from. They still had to charge me because, of course, I poked holes in her tires, and I also scratched her car up, and I also chased her to the elevator in a black masked outfit. I just wanted to smother her, I didn't even want her to be able to tell on me, but I was afraid to do anything deeper to her. I was afraid to really hurt her. But thankfully, she did call the police, because if she didn't, I either would have went back for her, or I would have hurt someone else. The day that I met that police officer was the day my life changed. It was like somebody who was an unscheduled mentor. Not somebody who I had to go see for an appointment or anything. It was like the heavens just dropped this guy right down in front of me to let me know that it's okay. One day I will get sex. One day I will be loved. He told me to start working on my voice. I knew it was pimple sounding already, and he told me it was pimple sounding. He's like, "Dude, you got to do something with yourself. Fix yourself up a little bit. You're a nice looking guy." That's what the police officer said to me. And then he also said to me that, I just look lanky, and I don't stand right, and I don't hold myself right, and I look awkward. Those are the things he told me. And I asked him, "Well, why don't you just give me a mini lesson right here on how to be a Chad?" And he said, "Let me give you 5 pointers right here, right now. Mark them down in your cell phone, and don't you forget this." And I said, "Okay." He said, "Listen to today's music. Whether it's rap or whether it's rock, listen to it all and get to know it all. Number 2, read women magazines. Magazines that are meant for women, read them, and read them in detail. Get to know the mind of a woman. 3, come up with some interests, not just gaming. So he said it doesn't have to be hunting, it doesn't have to be fishing, it doesn't have to be basketball. He said it doesn't even have to be a sport that is popular. He said it could be something that's not even physical. Just join some groups, go out and do something. So I joined a photography group. It's kind of like a sport. And he told me that I also needed to go to some voice lessons. I needed to go to voice coaching and acting coaching. And those were the points. And I did do all that. I'm still doing all of it. I really love the acting coaching. It helps me a lot. Even though I'm not doing it to become an actor, it still helps me get out of my bubble. It helps me not want to hurt anyone, too. I guess it's because I'm working on myself and I'm healing. And I'm looking forward to acting every week. Don't get me wrong, though. I'm still shy. And funny enough, there are a lot of people in acting class that are shy as well. Most people are like me, just different, kind of awkward, and they want to try their hand at acting. So I'm very grateful for those classes and I look forward to them. It gives me something to enjoy. So if you are an incel, these are my tips to you. Follow these rules and you will become a Chad. Number one, music. Okay, so I took this cop's advice and I've been listening to modern music, and I more specifically listen to the channels that women that I'm interested in would be listening to. So it helps me get into the mind of who they are, what lyrics they like, because hey, the number one song is the one that they're playing over and over. And so I try to mimic what's being said in those words. Then, point number two was read women magazines. And I have to tell you guys, women just say it how it is. In those magazines, you can learn about a woman immediately, and you can feel confident talking to a woman after you read what a woman writes in those magazines. You can talk to a woman about anything, and she will be loving the moment and she will remember it all because you had a good conversation with her. She's emotional. And those magazines have helped me really see what a woman is about. Now, number three was develop an interest. Photography is what I took up. I love it. It's great. A lot of women are in photography too, which I really didn't notice at first online. But now, after joining a few groups and going out to a few popular places where people like to take photos, I've been seeing a lot of women. Now, I speak to them a little bit more than what I would usually speak before. I speak up as well because I've been taking my voice lessons, which is number four. Voice lessons, very important, because those voice lessons have helped me throw my voice a lot more and speak to a woman more in a tempo, more in a tone that is manly, not so pimple sounding. My voice coach has taught me how to get my voice from the weak, insecure, pimple sounding person into more of a confident man, and I feel good about myself. I think that's why I really wanted to tell this story on Darkside of Lust, because even though I did lust and I was in a really bad spot, I also took up these tips, and the fifth one was acting. Now, I would never really consider myself an actor before, because when I first started the acting classes, I was so shy. My heart was in my throat. My chest was beating, and I felt like I just needed to get out of that room. I felt like I needed to just ask where the washroom was and go. But this was the thing. I was sitting at the back of the room. Okay, I didn't want to sit at the front of the acting room. And so when I went into the room, I sat at the back. Now, the door itself is at the front of the room. So that meant that if I did get up when I was already seated and the class was already there, I would look double shy because I wasn't planning on returning. So I just sat at the back and declined. I said, no, I'm just going to watch for now. And then eventually, after 3 weeks, I did participate. I went once a week. So after 3 classes, I did participate, and it wasn't easy. I just had one bit part where I just had to say one sentence, and then it built up and it built up to where now I have a monologue, which is about a paragraph long, a small paragraph, and I'm going to be saying that in acting class next week. I look forward to acting class, and it's not necessarily for me to become an actor, although at this time I do feel I will be taking more acting classes in the future, maybe some improv. The reason why is because the classes that I'm taking right now are free community courses in the community center close to my house. And I think acting has touched a special part of me where there are a lot of women and I can meet them. You know, this has worked for me in a way where I can talk to women now. I can present the real me now without being shy or insecure or timid or weak. And those lessons help me. But I will tell you this, I'm still on the borderline of being a virgin. Yes, I almost had sex twice. But the one woman told me that she had COVID just as I was about to put it in her. And, I'm a clean man, and me being an incel and never having intimacy with a woman before, I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more special. Plus, I went soft and I got embarrassed and I just couldn't do it. And I left. Yeah, I almost recoiled back into myself and I was so embarrassed that I left. I blocked her from my phone and I felt like I was an idiot just all the way at the beginning and didn't even do any of the tips. But then all of a sudden, the next day, I reminded myself that everything takes work. And, again, my acting class really helped me out. And I realized that I made a good decision. You know, there's going to be more women if I got with her. And there was another woman. And almost the same thing happened, but it wasn't. Her kids were the home. She had kids. She just was going through a divorce, and her kids came into the room, and it was like, forget it. I got up and I left. And again, I feel like I made a good choice. I don't want to be desperate. So I'm on my way to being a Chad. And those are the tips that I'm giving you that the police officer gave me because those are the tips that helped him become a Chad. Remember, number one, they are music, modern music. Read magazines. Also read GQ magazines as well. I've read a lot of men magazines and they've helped me as well. Of course, develop an interest. And voice lessons, very important. Acting lessons, also very important. All of them are important, but the ones that are really going to help you get out of your shell and believe in yourself more and maybe just change a couple of things about your personality, tweak them, not change you, but enhance you, then try those tips. Okay, guys, thank you, everyone. Take care. Don't be an incel or a Chad. Be yourself. Hey guys, so that story comes to us by an anonymous writer, and he is somebody that just sounds really amazing. I would have to say that if you are a person that is in the same boat as this gentleman, then try those tips, see how they work for you, and of course, let us know down below. If you are what people would consider a person that knows themselves and you feel comfortable with women, please put some tips down below for the men that are on their way along that journey. Take care, everyone. Thank you for listening. Huge hugs, loads of love, big blesses.
This is